Hello again.
Hi. You may notice we look the same as our last podcast, and that is because we're getting as much content to you guys as possible.
Bam, bam, bam.
Yes,
We're in a talking mood today.
Yes, absolutely. We have so many topics, literally, that it's almost endless,
Yes.
and so we want to try and get through as much different stuff for you guys as possible.
Yeah.
And if you did not watch the last one, please do. We talked about rainbow babies. It's a great little fun one. Yeah, super special. But what are we talking about in this one?
Today we are talking about how to tell a friend who has lost a child that you are expecting a baby. That can be a hard topic. So I thought we would go through 5 tips that I have for you. I'll link it back to a blog post as well. But yeah, just trying to ease that. I guess, I don't know, I feel like for me, as a bereaved mum, it was a point of anxiety for me. And I think it would be for people telling me that they were pregnant as well. So I thought I'd give you guys 5 easy tips to ease that conversation, make it a little bit easier for everyone.
Oh, that's so good. Yep, that's so good. Okay,
Yes.
let's jump straight into it then.
Cool.
Tip number 1.
Tip number 1 is to tell them first. So make sure they're not finding out from anyone else on social media, that they're not, talking to a friend who already knows, or your family happens to run into them and tell them. It should come from you. It's your news to tell. It's still exciting and will still be excited for you. But yeah, just make sure they don't find out, especially on social media. I think that's one of the biggest things, because it's like a big shock then. Yeah.
I can imagine you would start spiraling and thinking, like, why didn't they tell me?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's sort of like they had to have known how I was feeling. Like they didn't take me into account. They just sort of, sprung it on me. So, and I mean, yeah, it's sort of hard, because it is your news and it's your turn to share it whenever you feel comfortable. But it is really important to keep in mind that it is a lot for a bereaved parent to take on as well. So I don't know, it's taken me 4 years to get to the point where I'm like, oh, that's so exciting. Like, instead of feeling instant dread or envy, like, and that's not an easy thing for parents to admit, is that they're feeling envious about someone having a baby. Like, it feels wrong, but it is completely normal. And
100%.
it's not even that you're envious of, the fact that they're having a baby. It's the fact that you don't.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That would be it's a completely natural human response to that information.
100%.
So there shouldn't be any guilt associated with it.
No, none at all.
No.
Yeah. Tip number 2, don't do it face to face. I think if you were to do it face to face, they don't have a chance to react how they want to. They just are sort of putting up their mask and just getting on with it and being like, oh, that's great. Like, that's wonderful news. But if you send a text message, they have time to look at it, time to process it, and time to respond. So I think you're giving them, I know it feels wrong. I know what that's like, because I'm a face-to-face person as well. But you're giving them that space to be able to process their emotion and not take it out on you, and not be false in how they're reacting as well. Yeah.
It's giving you both the opportunity to react genuinely to the news.
100%.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, that's a great one.
The third one is to give them time to process it. So if, maybe even in the bottom of your text message, say, I don't expect you to respond straight away, or, maybe we can talk about this in a week's time, or, give them that space to be able to think about how they want to react, and not to feel guilty about feeling how they're feeling, but to be able to think about how they want to react to you, what they want to say to you, and how they want to start to honor your child while thinking of theirs. Yeah. So I think, giving them that time, like I think I said in another podcast that when we had Lily, someone wrote in the bottom, like, don't worry about responding. And it just took such a load off, off my mind. So I think that's a really important thing to remember. Tip number 4, don't get upset about boundaries that people put in place. So, if someone's not ready to go to a baby shower, or they're not ready to hold your baby, or, they don't want to talk about it, give them that space, because that's their right not to, be in that conversation all the time, because it is a point of like heightened emotion. When it comes to like baby showers and things like that, send the invite the same way that you've explained to them, like, by a text, let them know that, I've got an invite coming for you next week. I just wanted to give you a heads up, just so they've got time to process and, really act genuinely, like you said. And when it comes to like holding a baby, I think that's a really for me, it didn't even click until like I was holding my goddaughter, and I was like, oh my God, this is the first baby that I've held since I had Lily. And it clicked while I was holding her. So I sort of was like, I don't know how comfortable I feel right now. But it's really hard when you're in that moment to, to pass them back. So I think, don't be upset when they say, oh, I'm sorry, I just don't feel up to going to the baby shower, or tell them they can leave it to that day to decide.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
Give that person the opportunity.
Yeah.
But don't put the expectation on them.
Yes.
To meet your standard, because it's not about you.
Yeah.
Like of course it's an exciting time for you and you want to share that with the person.
Yeah.
But
you want to do it gently.
Yeah. And you want to do it in a way where you're both going to win in the situation.
Yes.
If you're the one being like, I can't believe she didn't come to my baby shower. If that person were to come to your baby shower, it would make her feel so uncomfortable, or the dad of the baby that was lost. And
it would then in turn make you uncomfortable, because you're sitting there the whole day saying, why can't you just be happy? Or So it just puts unwanted strain on that relationship. Yeah. And I think the last thing, tip number 5, would be to ask what she needs from you. So, say to her, like, are you okay with me having a conversation about the pregnancy? Or do you think you would be, up to discussing this, or going out for coffee on this day after I have an ultrasound, or seeing photos of my ultrasound, or, ask her what she thinks she'll be comfortable with in that space and what might be a trigger for her. And relating back to step 4, like, if she puts boundaries up later, just respect them, because obviously she's found a point that she thought she could handle and now she can't. And it's the same goes with dads as well. If they, if they're not ready to hold a baby, or if they can't, make it to a baby queue, if the lads are throwing something, just to, really look after their boundaries in that space, and just, touch base with them and let them know that you're there for them, even though you're going through this amazing, incredible, exciting journey.
Like asking the person, how involved do you want to be throughout this journey with my pregnancy?
Yes.
And then 100%. Allowing them to genuinely respond to that. And not making them feel like they're pressured into being involved. And
I think the main thing that I want to reinforce is that we will be excited for you. We are still excited for you, and it's not anything to do with you that, we're upset, or we're putting in place those boundaries, or we don't want to talk about it. It's just that, it's reminding us of what we've lost or what we don't have. So we by no means want to minimize your experience, because it is still a wonderful, amazing thing, but it does, trigger some really deep emotional things. So it's just a good way to be conscious for both parties, not just one, but for both. And maybe someone will be completely happy with you talking about it. They'll want to hold your baby. You just have to, it's sort of it's an individual thing. It's how they're grieving. And yeah, you just have to be open and communicate. I think that's the biggest thing, is just to communicate.
Have empathy for that person and understand how they might be feeling about everything.
Yeah.
And being, like you said, being open-minded enough to know that it's not me, it's them, and I still, like, it. If you want that person in your life, I think you're gonna go that extra mile to make sure that they're comfortable.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah.
And I think having this knowledge in your back pocket, it allows you the room to be able to, I don't know, understand, like, from another perspective how we're feeling, or you know, what could be a point of high anxiety.
Yeah. Because you might be wrapped up in the whole excitement of it all, that you may forget even that, me showing photos might be really upsetting. Like,
and that's totally understandable. Like,
Absolutely.
You're bound to slip up. Like, it's a 9-month pregnancy. So there's going to be at least one time where you're like, oh, should I have said that? But I think if you're being genuine and you're taking those steps to really look after the bereaved mum or dad, then I think, you're on the right path.
Yeah, you're doing everything you can for that person.
Yeah.
I love it. Great tips. So good.
So I will link the blog post in the show notes, and you can check it out or share it with your friends. But yeah, I hope that helps when you are announcing your exciting news.
Yep. And if that is you, congratulations.
Yay.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks. Bye.